peace, and blessings. Thank you once again for tuning in. This is D.A.P. My name is David Adams, and I am your host of D.A.P. The Perspective, peace, and blessings. Do me a favor, could you go ahead and like the page, share the page, tag someone else in the page? I appreciate it if you can do that. Much love and respect. We are here now with part two, episode two, I should say, of the mandatory paternity test. We had to do this. We had to do two because once I did the other one, you know what I mean, there was some conversations that opened up that basically came in. A few people inboxed me and they was like, yo, Dave, this is real. You know what I mean? And they were like, you know, this is everything I needed. Everything I needed to know. Somebody else hit me. They were talking about, you know, I don't like it, but it hurt. It might hurt, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? A lot of men said, bro, this should have been the law years ago. And surprisingly, it's like amongst the people, all that said, you know, somebody said they would have said that would have saved their family from years of pain, knowing the information that I had put out that day, which was earlier. So today I want to unpack part two that most people avoid: the emotional side, the cultural side, the hidden truths, and the generational cycles that mandatory paternity tests would have finally broken. Facts. Yep. So when lying about paternity becomes normalized, I want y'all to bear with me, all right? Bear with me. The paternity that becomes normalized. Let's talk culture. And a lot of communities, especially the urban communities, lying about who the father is has become normalized. And that's a fact. Not publicly, but behind closed doors. We've seen that on some of these talk shows. And one of the main talk shows was Maury. All right. So grandma's knows, the grandmother knows, auntie knows, the mother knows, everybody know. Sometimes even the dude she actually slept with knows. And the only person left in the dark is the child. And a lot of times the man raising the child. All right. So that is trauma created by silence. I'm going to say it again. Trauma created by silence. Trauma created by fear. Trauma created by choices that mandatory testing could have eliminated. We can't fix generational trauma, okay? Impossible. We can't do that. But if we keep pretending this isn't a real issue, woo! Now, what women are scared of, what a lot of women are afraid of, what are they afraid to say out loud, that is? Let's address it. Sometimes women don't like to admit publicly, okay? They don't like to admit publicly, but will whisper it privately. Some are afraid. Some are afraid. Listen to me good. Some are afraid of the mandatory test because it removes the ability to control the narrative. It removes fear from the man. It removes leverage in arguments. It removes the ability to hide mistakes. It forces reality instantly. I'm not talking about 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. I'm not talking about a year later, 16 years later, 28 years later, 40 years later. I'm talking instantly. And the truth be told, a lot of women don't want to deal with the consequences of that truth. Not because they're evil, not saying that, but because they're human. And humans protect their reputation. And that's a fact. But real accountability ain't comfortable. That's why it's called accountability. That's exactly why. Some may be listening to this right now and they'll leave because they may be dealing with something like this, or they may think it's female bashing. Not at all. What men fear but can't say. Men fear mandatory testing too. Don't get it twisted, but for different reasons. A man will love a child with his whole heart, right? Even if he have a little doubt, okay? But the man tend to attach himself through responsibility, through time, and through effort. And a lot of the men are scared that the child they bonded with might just be or might not be theirs. And that's what they're scared of. They're scared to lose that relationship, scared to lose that child, scared to lose the identity that they built as a father. Because you know, there's some fathers or some men didn't have a father. So when they already built themselves up as a father, that's a big title for them. But that's something they never had. They knew how they felt when they didn't have a father. So having that, that means a lot. So men don't ask. Some men ignore the red flags. Some men just pray is theirs. Mandatory testing protects those men from living a lie they never asked for. Get it? Mandatory testing at birth, okay, stops men from living a lie. Now, the financial reality of it. Now, let's just be real with this right here, okay? Part of the resistance is financial. Bottom line. Part of it is financial. When a man finds out a child isn't his after years of child support, not no refund. The system don't give him no refund. The system don't apologize. None of that. The system does not contact or correct the wrong. They don't correct the wrong. They probably won't even contact them and say, you know, we were wrong. Mandatory testing stops government from pulling the wrong man into 18 years of payments. It stops emotional scams. It stops legal scams. It stops financial traps. Oh, yeah. No man should go bankrupt over a child that's not his. It's a fact. You can take it or just, leave it alone, but it's a fact. Now ask yourself the question, would you want your son to go through that to the young ladies? Would you want your 18-year-old, 19-year-old son to go through that? It's not a good thing. Now, the emotional damage to children. The greatest victim in all of this is the child. A child raised in the lie, all right, grows up confused about their identity, all right? Then they grow up with trust issues on top of that. They grow up with feeling betrayed by the adults who are supposed to protect them. The mandatory test eliminates all of that. Straight up. The mandatory test gets rid of all of those layers of issues. No child should learn at 18 years old or 25 that the man they loved wasn't their father. No kid should be told in anger, especially during an argument. No kid should have their whole childhood flipped. Imagine in an argument and your child sitting there and she hollers out real quick, "That's why he ain't your child, you dummy." Whoa. Truth from birth protects emotional stability of the child, not just the adults. I'm going to give you a real story, a true story that happens that most of us know. A lot of us know these stories, but hiddenly, secretly. All right. So let's go here. A dude may be with the girl. Okay, they break up. Months later, she's pregnant. All right. Now she says it's his. He doubts it, but he still sleeps with her. He still steps out with her. He still steps up, as a matter of fact, because she's pregnant. Why? Because he's a good dude. He's a responsible dude. He's not built, like that to let a kid suffer. It's not in him. He may not have a father, so he know how it feels. He pays. He supports. He shows up. He's all of that. Number one dad type of thing. Fast forward 8 years, 9 years, 10, 12 years later, the relationship is over. Parenting is rough. Suddenly, she slips up during an argument. You ain't even his father. For real, for real. What? Now, that one sentence, destroys a man emotionally. So mandatory testing eliminates that type of cruelty, that type of manipulation, that type of betrayal. One test at birth prevents a lifetime of trauma. That's a fact. That's a fact. The social benefit of it, mandatory testing, mandatory paternity testing, strengthens society. Strong families build strong communities. When truth is the foundation, everything built on top of it stands strong. Facts. Now I want your response after I finish this, okay? You can put your comments in the comment board or you can call. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to be here for a minute just for you to respond if you like. So the schools benefits, the healthcare benefits, relationships benefits, all right? The justice system benefits. Clarity creates structure, all right? Structure create stability. Real talk. What's good with you, Jay? Peace and blessings, Tamika. Peace and blessings. So in closing, I just want to say, here's the truth everybody needs to sit with. If mandatory paternity testing makes you uncomfortable, the issue isn't the test. The issue is the accountability that comes with truth. So this is why I had to do part 2, which is this one right here. If you just chime it in, I needed to make, I need to make this because it's like this conversation can't end with just emotions of the first one. It just can't end with emotions. We need facts. We need logic. We need protection for men, women, and especially the children. Mandatory testing at birth is not punishment for nobody, okay? It's protection. And when society starts valuing the truth, the same way we value entertainment, the same way we value gossip, drama, we'll see families healing, all right? We'll see families healing in ways we never thought possible. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank you guys for just tapping in. Even if you tapped in for 4 seconds, 3 seconds, I really appreciate it. If you could do me a favor, go ahead over there and press subscribe. And I want to announce that we have hit 1,000 subscriptions on YouTube. So I thank you all who have went over there and pressed the subscribe button. I appreciate it. 1,001 today. Real talk. So I want you to be on the lookout. All right, because it might be a part 2 soon, okay? But if you want to make a comment and, stress your analogy, your opinion, or your perspective on this particular topic right now, you can do that right now on the comment board. I'll give you a few seconds, a few minutes to do that now, if you could. If you want to call in, you can call in as well. The number is 973-433-5666. The number is 973-433-5666. All right? You can call in right now. Call that number. I appreciate you. I'm just waiting for you to chime in. If you would like to make a comment, if you would like to make a comment, you can do that now. Yep. If you want to call in, you don't want to type, to express yourself. Once again, I appreciate Samson coming in. I think that's Tamika coming in. Peace and blessings. Once again, this is D.A.P. My name is David Adams. I am your host of D.A.P. Peace and blessings. If no one has anything to say, if you would like to say something when you watch this video, for those just will be chiming in, go ahead and put it on the comment board, man. Much love and respect. You have been D.A.P. Peace out.